Welcome to our 8th day on the South Island of New Zealand. This is pretty much a travel day where we moved from Te Anau to Queenstown. We started our day at 5:30 and then took a 6:45 bus from Te Anau to Queenstown. This is a 2-hour ride, and if you're a photographer, you know that this is bad news because the sun comes up during this time frame. And as photographers, being on a bus where we have no ability to stop, this is torture. Yeah, for us, you don't need any fancy pieces of equipment of torture, like the rack or inversion tables. Just put us on a bus with pretty scenery going by and no ability to stop. Those dogs that have their head hanging out the window? Well, this is basically Guy and I with our noses up against the window going, oh, that's pretty. Oh, I wish we could stop. Oh, but we knew that we were going to a car rental place and soon we would have our own cars and our ability to stop. So thank goodness there was a relief ahead. Yeah, you think this line is going slowly along this road? Imagine how it was for us watching that gorgeous light on the scenery outside. Once we finally made it to Queenstown, we picked up our car rental from Apex Rentals and started our drive up the Crown Range Road. Our first stop was the Crown Terrace, where we could look down on Arrow Town and in the Arrow Valley across to the remarkable mountain range. The Crown Range Road reaches an altitude of 1,121 meters or 3,677 feet and is the highest main road in all of New Zealand. It is actually the longest of two options to go to Wanaka, but it's definitely the prettier one as the road winds through this higher mountain pass through rolling grass mountainsides. This road was really pretty, so I do recommend it for photographers traveling between Queenstown and Wanaka. The whole reason we're going to Wanaka is the famous Wanaka Tree. It is a lone willow tree that stands out in the middle of the water, and just the shape of the tree in the middle of the water all alone is somehow mystical, and I've always wanted to see it.
So we couldn't help but give in to it. We had to go see the Wanaka Tree. So here it is behind me. The guy's already shooting it, and we'll be back later at sunset, but we just wanted to see what it looked like.
By going during the day, we had a good lay of the land for when we were going to come back later to shoot the Wanaka Tree at sunset. It is also one of the most photographed trees in all of New Zealand, and I have to say that I was very curious how we could shoot this tree differently from everyone else. I think the best way to shoot this tree is to get really low along the shoreline so that the tree stands up above the shoreline in the distance as much as possible. You want to get the darkest dark of the tree against the lightest light of the background behind, and that makes it pop a little bit better. I also look to try to make sure that the limbs of the tree have good separation from the darker parts of the background. When we planned this trip, I decided to have underclothing that could double as swimwear to be able to use in case I needed to go swimming or in case we needed a quick model for a photo shoot. It was really quite cold outside, so I was freezing. I really liked this perspective shot with the heart shape of my hands. It was just a little tricky to get the tree and my hands to line up. And Guy ended up taking one photograph with my hands sharp and one photograph with the tree sharp and overlapping the two pictures in Photoshop. After visiting the Wanaka Tree, we went to our Airbnb hosted by Carol. This was a fantastic place. I recommend it to any photographers or other travelers that head through this town. Next, we decided to just take a short walk on the Glendhu Bay Track, or what is otherwise known as the Millennium Track. It is a walking and biking track that follows the western shoreline of Lake Wanaka. Along the track you have gorgeous views of Mount Aspiring. We could not walk too far along this track because we had to get back in time to be able to go back to the Wanaka Tree that night. We figure we only had a couple opportunities to get to the Wanaka Tree given our schedule, so I wanted to take advantage of every single one. There are no signs to that Wanaka Tree, but it is on Google Maps, so it makes it a little bit easier to find. It's about a 2-minute walk from the car park. The light was dim, so this required a tripod and longer exposure times. But I love the effect of the long exposure and how it smooths out the surface of the lake. We were hoping for the most amazing sunset, but unfortunately, the universe was not cooperating. But one of the things we know is even when the sky is completely overcast and there is no color in the sky, there's always the cobalt blue at dusk after the sun has gone down that can still make for marvelous photographs.
What you can't see here in the dark is us taking a picture of the Wanaka Tree in the dark. That little dot in the foreground is the camera, and maybe next we'll show you the picture.
You get the starbursts of the pin lights of the town in the distance. Guy used f/16. We hope you enjoyed this travel day, and in future videos we'll explore this beautiful area.
Okay. Don't get up right now.
My leg is hurting my back.
Okay. I want to be able to see. There it is.